Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is amazing. Um,
Yeah.
and I will. Well, the bottom of the screen says our name, so no need for introduction. But this is going to be the first of its kind, and it's the continuation of um, chats that have been going on off the camera. So we brought them to the camera because why not? So the most recent of them is I think dating is unnecessary. And
I
I
think
feel
it is
like I
necessary.
have more points than you do, but I'm going to give
I
you the
think it's
opportunity
necessary.
to prove me wrong.
So, well, in the Bible, there is no place recorded, yeah, that one should date or one
Uh-huh.
shouldn't. But
Listen,
in the world we live in at the moment, where are you?
my light went off for this
Now, a lot of
one. Uh-huh.
people um, have made great mistakes in getting married. And I heard someone say, it is better for you to have a broken relationship than to have a broken marriage. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
So marriage is not a place where you try and and if it doesn't work, you just check out. And you said people who had maybe several broken relationships, that's why they think marriage is also that way. But I don't think that in that light because um, if someone don't get to know who they're gonna get married to, and when they get married and they're seeing things that they're like, what are they supposed to do? If you are of the opinion that dating is not necessary,
Okay.
are they just going to manage all through their lives in this journey of you know being together till, because that was the intention for marriage forever. So getting into it, not knowing what to expect, don't you think is a dangerous venture?
Okay.
Yeah, just my thought. If it's a dating is not necessary, and 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 in this world that we live, full of deception, and a lot of young people are still growing their faith. You see, and um, because they've not actually been fully trained to be led by the Spirit. So some are still putting their faith to work. So they try to get to know someone without
The
just
permanent
jumping into
situation.
marriage. And as I said, yeah, date, but your dating should have a direction. What is the purpose for this dating? Is it just to while away time? You know, and that's why I won't advise teenagers. If teenagers are watching this, dating is not for you. And because if you're gonna date, there should be a purpose for your dating. Is it for you know for marriage? And as a teenager, I don't think they're actually ready for dating at that time. So why not just reserve it till when you're ready? So I feel dating is not um from our previous discussion. You said some have dated, they've broken up, they've dated another
You need
person
to let
and
me
broken up. So
develop
when they
my
got married, they
point
think
because if you just say that, it's gonna sound
so.
wrong.
No, no, you said that when we're off camera. So you said that when we're off camera. So I just thought I thought to bring that up again. So with this viewpoint of mine, I really think it is necessary, and because of the world in which we're living in right now.
Okay. First of all,
So,
do you agree? You don't need to date somebody to know the person. I live with somebody, Cynthia, and we are not dating. But I know her. Okay, you're gonna tell me, oh yeah, if it was it's not like it's not like it's a guy, but you can know somebody perfectly in a friendship. That's the first thing. Secondly, it is there's no way that if we look at it, I feel like if we were to do statistics, right? If you say it is necessary and it helps people to get prepared for the permanent situation, which is marriage, then we would have a condition, a
Mm.
situation where more the those who have been in relationships or more relationships before marriage, those ones are more likely to have a better and a stable home, which is not the case. It's not the case. And I've not done like proper research, but I've just looked at it like bird eye view, right? In in there are more broken marriages, for example, in in worlds in which people date more than they are in worlds in which people don't date more. I I've not done I don't have numbers, but it's something that I can stake my life on because at least
We're talking about our forefathers.
wait, I'm not talking about
You.
forefathers. I'm talking about like look at the
Those
people.
are our forefathers. This generation is different from our forefathers, where in this part of Africa, where they just use your wife or they send for from another town and then they imported the wife for, for the guy. He never met
Yeah, I'm
her,
alive.
and,
Mhm.
So,
Okay,
so
but hold on. Can I finish
this
what I
is
was saying?
this generation
What
is different.
okay, but I'm saying that, and I'm saying that
Okay.
being a person who, when you date, it doesn't necessarily prepare you for marriage. It doesn't. Which, because like what you need, I mean, tell me an example. Give me a good example of something that a man and a woman can be doing in a dating relationship that will help them to prepare for marriage, which they could not do in a friendship. Every example you can give right now is something that they should not even um like they don't need to be doing to discover each other. People just need to talk, right? People need to communicate, they need to observe each other, they need to hang out, they need to see how they do things together, they need to see how they resolve conflicts, and all of those can be done in a friendship. Hey, I'm not saying I'm not saying that um I'm not saying that I think where I'm coming from, right, is that I see that it's possible. First of all, it's possible to get married to somebody without the typical dating situation. I feel like it's possible, right?
Yes, it is.
And it doesn't necessarily mean
Several
that
of such has
the
happened.
it doesn't spoil, like nothing gets ruined because of that, is what I'm saying. So do you believe that somebody can marry somebody that they did not date? They can, right?
Such
Okay.
have
So
happened. Several,
okay.
several
So
of
I
such
think
have
that, I mean,
happened.
we are not quite, I feel like we're not very, what, it's like we're not at extremes of the conversation because meanwhile, you are saying that it's necessary. A marriage has to be in the focus. So both of us agree that it's not for leisure. We agree that it's not a
Yes,
sport.
yes.
Okay. So, um,
But the only difference is, yeah, like it's not necessary. Once I just meet a
bam.
lady,
Once I
I
meet
just tell her
you,
that
I'm like,
let's
okay,
go and get married.
checklist, bam, 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 bam.
Let's go. I
Let's
would
marry.
like to marry you. Let's go to the altar. Straight up next month. We're
Let me
getting
tell you
married.
something. At the point where I am right now, I'm very, very, very welcoming to such stories. Tell me, hey, I met somebody, they checked this list box, they checked this box, they checked this box. They didn't check this box, but I think we can work on it. They checked this one, they checked this one. They didn't, but we can work on this. And I think we should marry. So you walk up to the
Hmm.
person and say, hey, um, I am da 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 da, and I'm cute. And
Hmm.
I think we should
Hmm.
marry. And then the person's like, oh, wow, okay. I think it can work. And they're like, okay, let's meet tomorrow and talk about it.
Hmm. Wow. That
Three
sounds
months
like
later, they're married. Everybody
an
goes home
angel
happy.
dropping from the sky. That sounds like an angel dropping from the sky. When you meet people first, let me tell you something. The psychology about man is when you meet people, you know, you just get to meet people. they tend to be nice to you,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? But what the longer you know them, it seems they were not as nice as they were the first time you met them. Am I right?
I mean, it's true that people first of all show their best.
Then you begin to discover certain things where you're like, I didn't know this guy was like this. I thought he was a nice guy.
I mean, but like,
So now imagine, now just imagine, then they got married, and then this lady, she's like, hi, I wish I knew this, so
but
I
you can
wish I
never know
knew
him
this,
enough. There are
you
stories of
know.
somebody who married
But
and changed,
but now
right?
she's there. But now she's there. But now she's there. She's not like, I can't live with this. I can't. What am I? Now this has become something she now has to manage. She has to live with. She has to endure or adapt. And some, if it's something is that is not bearable, okay. Once if the guy has hot temper, and she doesn't know, and maybe she misbehaved, and a slap. She has not seen the guy angry before. The only part she's seen about this guy is just so good, so nice, very friendly, but she has never seen him angry. That some people when they get angry,
Yeah, that's
it's like
true. But the dating can
part of
never
their brain
prepare
stops working.
the person enough. Because I mean, haven't you heard of stories? Like I've heard a story. I've heard. It feels like it's happened to so many people where somebody dated somebody and the person was one thing, and immediately they got married, they like changed up. So the dating never prepares anybody enough. If you tell me that dating is what we
But to an
describe,
extent, it does. To an extent, it does. I think so. Okay, continue making your point.
no, it doesn't. Because like it doesn't. I mean, I've broke this thing down in my mind. The only thing that dating does is that it helps you to be married without being married. It helps you to be married without being married. It's like this person is my sweetheart, my darling. I'm gonna talk to them every day. And that's for people who are in this world where they're actually dating for marriage. They date, it helps them to marry without marrying. The ones who date for sports, just I mean they go to a party, they meet somebody, hi, let's hang out, we're now dating, and then on to the next whenever something happens, right? But for those who date in for with marriage in focus, I feel like if you this is how it happens, right? I don't have an issue if somebody gets to a point and they're like, okay, and this is my suggestion. You get to a point and you're ready to marry, and you're like, yes, I think I'm ready to marry. And then you're now on the lookout for people that you can marry. So already you can
Mhm.
observe the person even better because you can observe them from a distance. You can observe them when they are not acting. You can know them through other people, right? And all that. That is great. But a lot, I feel like the society in which we live in, what happens is that once you make it through your teenage years when you were rebel and you dated, even if you knew that you shouldn't and you still did it, or you're just once you make it through, and this is of course for like in the Christian community, once you make it through and you're like in your 20s, you're you, when you see somebody and like them, you get on a journey with that person, and then you start when you're already dating the person, you start considering the things about this person that will make you marry them or not. And so it's basically like marrying without marrying, which is why I said that the culture of marrying without marrying is the reason for more separations, because people have been conditioned to walk in and out of those kinds of relationships, and so they think that they are testing them because they want to find a perfect one. But since there is no perfect one as such, unless the people work towards it, once they get there and it turns out not to be that perfect one, they are not tolerant. So I strongly have come up with a theory, and I believe I can write a book that the dating culture has contributed significantly to the number of failed marriages. I feel so intelligent now.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Sorry.
Between a broken relationship and a broken marriage, which is
I mean,
better?
everybody they say a broken relationship, right? But at this point in this world, I feel like there's no difference. People break anything they want to break. Yeah, it's like if it can be broken, it's gonna break. Nobody cares which is better to break. But yes, people say that because marriage is a covenant
So,
and all that, you know.
but in reality, a broken relationship is better than a broken marriage.
So will you go looking for
I've observed something. I don't know if if you know one, but I've seen like one or two people that maybe they dated while they were on campus or in school, and they already had um an agreement between themselves that, oh, this is to marriage, and they get married. They end up getting married. I've not seen, well, I've not seen, there might be, you know, maybe separating because they've gotten to know themselves over the years. You see, they've understand each other. They know when this person is angry. They know when this person is not happy with, with the partner. So they already have this understanding and this mutual understanding over the years.
no. I
And
I have examples that
that's why some
got
people
married.
came up with That's why some people came up with this theory, which I'm not endorsing. They say, "Oh, marry your friend." No, you see. So do we just go about marrying everybody we see on the street? Oh, because or not just the street, people that that we associate with, because we say they are our friends. So, but in the real sense, as I said, getting to know someone is really important, and it's because of this generation that we live in.
Question,
We are living in a very dangerous world.
question.
All right.
So, getting to know someone is very important, right? Describe to me the difference between a dating relationship between a man and a woman and a friendship relationship between a man and a woman. You're going to tell me, oh, yeah, there's some things they cannot discuss. I don't think so. I feel like a lot can be discussed. Enough, let me put it out, enough can be discussed. Because in this dating situation, we be having discussions that seriously, am I not
Now,
somebody who is not
there's
married?
a
I know what
thin line.
a thin
You
line.
can
Okay.
discuss everything.
Mm. But there's a thin line.
Yes.
I think it's about commitment.
Okay, imagine. Okay, just imagine. Um, oh, I have this lady I'm talking to every now and then, and technically we didn't say we were dating, all right, but we're always communicating. I'll call her in the evening when I'm back from work, call her late into the night when we're talking, we're gisting. We got so close. And then we talk about a lot of things. We speak almost every day. Then sometimes we hang out. And then, you know, um, our parents even get to kind of know that we're friends. Is that really a
So,
friendship? Wait, I'm not even done. Then, my friend knows her, a friend knows me, we're just friends. So, and then sometimes we talk about some intimate things. Oh, how many children would you like to have? Is that really a friend?
I mean, I've had discussions about with my friends on how many children they want to have.
For a guy and a lady to start discussing how many children we like to have, I think there's already a line drawn. They might not just spell it out and be truthful to themselves, but they're already dating.
Okay.
They don't just know
I
it
think,
yet. So when you're saying you can be friends and you can talk about a lot of things. I have female friends. There are a lot of things I can't just call her, oh, how you doing? And then I'm calling her, checking on her every day. So something must be up, right?
yeah. Well, well, I I think it's one of those things where it's not a it's not exactly a black or white situation. And this is me just helping us to both to walk away from this conversation content and having have you know uh like touched pain points, right? So I I understand what you say, right? If you're in that kind of, if you have that kind of friendship, that's what we call dating. But I think because of the topic we are on, maybe we even need to go in and start discussing what exactly is dating. But the assumption
Maybe,
here is that dating
maybe
is
in our
sometimes
next,
a
in
romantic
our
friend,
next,
romantic relationship, right? It is
yeah,
romantic, so
maybe,
there's
yeah,
feelings and
maybe
all that.
in our, yeah, maybe in our next can dive a
Yeah,
bit into. Um,
but we both
so did you agree with my point
uh
that dating is necessary before marriage? Oh
you
yes,
cannot
still.
do that to me. You're not gonna make me to agree to agree to you. I'm smart. I know how to work out of this conversation without losing. So I have
Okay, but do you know
yeah.
something?
So
Do you know something? Your point. Make your point.
okay, I'm not gonna walk out from here having subjected myself to your theory because I strongly believe that mine has more impact. Anyways, but I feel this is not to personally, I'm not saying that everybody that is dating out there is doing something crazy. I'm just saying that if marriage is at the center of a dating relationship, I don't have anything to say for people who date as sports or date as entertainment or date as an escape from their life, or date to
Yeah.
engage their hormones and their not just their hormones. I mean, everybody needs their hormones to engage, you know, some kind of feelings that they have within them. I'm talking about those who said, okay, it's marriage we gathered here for. I have looked around and I feel like it's not necessary for you to marry somebody. I understand how you can discover somebody and that discovery because there's an attraction. That discovery is what um we can term as dating because you guys will do things that you don't do with everybody else. So it's like an exclusive relationship. I just think that it's not absolutely necessary. I'm not saying, even though a part of me is like, yes, dating is responsible for all the failures in our world. Of course. Not. Of course not. That's just me being extreme. Just because, like I said, I feel like it's the culture of it builds that intolerance in people where if you cannot stand the way somebody brushes their teeth, you're out. If you cannot stand the way somebody handles conflict, you're out. Like it's like, okay, that thing that holds people, because I've heard people say on the internet that, oh yeah, we shouldn't give our grandparents as examples because they were stuck, because they were stuck. But there's something that they had, because I mean, to be stuck in a marriage for 50 years, to be stuck, you had some level of self-control. You
Okay,
had
okay, now
have
let's
some
talk
level of
about that.
self-control that
Now
I
let's talk
admire,
about that.
because I'm gonna be out.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. All right. Now, and let's bring in the, you know, the Bible aspect of it. When we look at how Isaac got his wife
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca, Abraham sent his servant to get
Mm-hmm.
him a wife. Accepted her.
Mm-hmm.
But Bible also said that she was beautiful. Let's note that. All right. The
I
Bible
mean, she was
also.
fine. Anybody in his
Okay.
eyes, right? And
Yeah.
yes, agreed. Mm-hmm.
So, and then we observe back in the days, so they do that, you see. But um, and if you observe people who do that, maybe they already have a brought up that way to believe
Mm-hmm.
based on what they've seen, the
Mm-hmm.
pattern that has been
Absolutely,
on.
yes.
So that's been laid down. So when they were growing up, in fact, some while they were still child or when they were still much younger, they would be told that, oh, you've been
Yes, to somebody
espoused
this
to
family.
so person. And then they grew up with that mindset, knowing that, oh, I'm somebody's wife already,
Mhm.
right from,
Yeah,
their childhood.
we
So
don't have that.
so the culture
Mm,
We don't have that in this generation. So and that's why things seems to be really different in
mm.
this generation, and the world is now a global village where you can see what is happening real time in another country. The communication system, the exposure we all have, the
So
culture mingling
we need
we're
to go
having on
find
the internet,
them wives and
a
husbands
lot
for
of
ourselves,
influences.
right? So
You said
because of
what?
that, this culture, we need to go and dig in our world to discover people for ourselves and make our own decisions about whether we want to marry them,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
So
we don't need to
looking
make
at
them
it from
do
the
that.
Bible, all right.
Uh-huh.
Bible says, as men that are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. So for a man who is led by the Spirit,
Hmm.
and you know, and he's been training himself, over the years, not now that he's about to get married, he's hearing the Spirit of God. All this while, the person has not been hearing the
He's not
Spirit of
letting
God.
you hear
But
God.
now that he wants to get married, it is emotion. It is emotion. So, but if he has trained his spirit over the years to hear the Spirit of God, so he will be able to tell, like, oh, and then he meets this lady, and it's like, within him, he
This
knows
is
that
the
this
one,
lady is going to
thus
be my wife.
saith the Lord.
Yes. So next month you can just be like, let's go and get
Okay.
married.
Uh-huh. Anyways, I'm looking for more of
So that is where your own part. That is when I can really go with this your part. If the guy has been functioning by the spirit, all right,
awesome.
I can support him. But if this guy has not really been training
Mhm.
himself, to be led by the
Then
spirit,
it's a no.
and he's at this point, yeah, I'll be like,
Okay.
bro,
Oh well.
can you
Oh, sorry.
calm down? I
Mhm.
remember one story of one uh, 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 two single individual who
Let
wanted
me
to
check
get
the time.
married some years ago.
Oh yeah, we need to wrap up.
Mm.
But okay.
Yeah, so Pastor Chris shared this story. He said, so there was this brother that loves this lady, she's so beautiful, she's, light complexion, you know, like the light of the world. And he loves her so much. And he went to meet the pastor. I'd like to marry this lady. And the pastor was like, bro, can you calm down? He's like, I really love her. Hey. He said, calm down. But the brother was really rushing,
Mhm.
rushing, rushing. Pastor has not even told him that, oh, you can marry her. It was like that certain thing that lady needs to deal with first before you can even go ahead. But it was still like, oh, he's in love, he's in love. So one day they were in the house, and there was a disagreement between both of them, and they started exchanging words. This lady was so angry. The next thing is she picked up the TV set and threw it at him. This bro dodged it and ran out of
Oh
the
yeah.
house, straight to the pastor's office. Then he came to meet Pastor Chris actually, and then was telling him, Pastor, I can't believe what I saw today. This lady, the way she energy, the it was Pastor was like, this is what I'm telling you. So, and you see, so these are very, very important, being led, having spiritual guidance,
Yeah, spiritual guidance,
um,
absolutely.
uh,
Absolutely.
especially if the person has not really been working,
Mhm.
you know, trained himself over the years to walk by the leading of the Spirit, So, yeah, these are very
Awesome.
important. So I can agree with that
Specific
with you,
with specific
for
circumstances, right? Okay.
hmm.
Anyways, good thing we could agree under some circumstances.
Is there any chat? Is there any? Okay, okay. I was
Oh
checking the
yeah, for
chat
now,
if there was
we just
any.
decided to keep the
Okay.
ball rolling, but um I'm sure if there was you'd see it, so that's gonna be it. for today. And this is It's the Start of Something New. I guess that's what that song says. Yeah, so Pearl lives in the USA. Deji lives Pearl lives on the continent of America. Deji lives on the continent of Africa, and we are two people that have um, interesting conversations, and we thought that it's something that we can share with the rest of the world. So let's do it and inspire each
Yeah,
other in faith with faith. Go ahead, Mr. Deji.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
just agreeing. Okay,
yeah.
okay, go.
So we look forward. Yeah, I was just like, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, great. So I look forward to another great conversation. Then, if you have any question, you can drop it in the comments section. We can talk about it. Do you agree with someone dates before marriage or just get married? Looking at it from, is it Christian yeah, from the
Christ-centric.
Christian perspective. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
Christ perspective.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much, DJ, for joining me today and for being the one to move over to my side. I hope you have it on record that you moved over to my side, not me moving over to your side. So,
On the condition that the guy is led by the Spirit, they are both led by the Spirit.
okay. Oh, well, that was great. At the end of the day, we very much um, want to highlight that part, living by the Spirit, being led by the Spirit. And it's something that would um, it's something that makes a difference in every aspect, even out of this aspect, right? So we're glad to
Mm.
hear your thoughts and questions. Until next time, have a wonderful day.
Ah.
Awesome.